Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Florida Buzz. So, in the last week or two, we've made a lot of progress. I've wanted to make a lot more videos than I really did. But because everything that was going on, and like I said, I wanted my son to pretty much be my wingman on this whole project. So, yeah, we've skipped a lot of steps and we forgot to record a lot of stuff. But I wanted to give you guys an update on everything that's going on and, you know, the procedures and steps that are going on with that and what's to come. So, right now here, we got everything set up. We finally got the oil pan on. There was nothing left to really touch, grind, or polish in the lower end. So the lower end's all together, the oil pump's in. That was also in my previous video, but we got that done. I finally got the harmonic bouncer pushed in all the way. I'm still gonna torque it. I don't have my step down with me to get my 3/8 torque wrench on there. So I gotta go get that from my shop. So that's pretty much the last thing to do on the short block. But other than that, we got the oil pan gasket in here. The oil pan's on. Everything's getting nice and blue now. The rockers, the roller rocker, the Ultra Pro Comp Camp ones, they're all on. I fine-tuned and adjusted all the play on them. That's a big subject I wanted to touch base on, guys. A lot of people don't talk about this, but when you get these heads, you know, pre-assembled, a big thing are these guide plates. When you're running roller rockers, you really need to check the position of your guide plates. Like for instance, when I first put, it's mainly the end ones you'll have the problem with. I think I adjusted this one, but out of the 4 middles, like those two and these two, I only tweaked this one. This one was good, that one was good, and that one was good. This one, it was a hair off. Would it have been okay? Most likely. Does it take, you know, an hour to pop these off, untorque the plate, and move it around? No. So I just went ahead and did it. I'd say it takes about 5 minutes a rocker set, depending. Like for instance, these were actually so far out, I had to pull these off, pull this guide plate out, and I actually had to go to my shop and get my drill and my carbide bit. Just give you guys an idea of all my Milwaukee tools. Like I said, I've got a lot of these guys. But yeah, I had to go to my shop and beg my boss to come down during this pandemic and open the door so I could get my carbide bit and my drill, because I tried to sit here and to give you an idea, these little files I have over here, man, I don't know if you guys are in the market for files, but I have used these guys on everything possible on this build that needed, you know, mild filing, you know, like the piston rings, you know, on the tops and bottoms, you know, where they get the burrs after you file them. I use these. That part in the block where I needed more clearance on the left side of the throw where the dipstick runs through, right here, where the dipstick runs through, the wall was meted up a little bit too far. And like I said, with that giant throw of the 408, it had about 42 thousandths of clearance, but I wanted to see about 60, just in case, you know, it walks at higher RPMs or anything like that. I wanted about 60 thousandths of clearance. So I had to take that file, and I wanted to videotape this, but I was, like I said, so head set on making sure my son got wind of all the little fine details that comes into a build like this, because, you know, everything's coming out and everything's new. You know, nothing's reused. It's not just like a simple, you know, piston swap, which was the original build plan, but yeah, it didn't go that way. So like I said, I ended up using these guys. But back to the guide plates, man. Yeah, those guide plates are serious. I mean, they are hardened steel. So I had to pull this out and actually sit there with my carbide bit, and I damn near chewed that carbide bit out completely walking it, because the holes that come in it, they're probably about as wide as this rocker, like the bearing. Don't take into account the entire rocker. Probably about as wide as that bearing is about how much movement you have. And on these outer cylinders, usually that's enough, but I literally had to grind it probably, I don't know, I'd say, let me look at my ruler if I can find it. But I would say almost full inch I had to move that guide plate. Like I'll give you an example. When I started, see where that guide plate is? It was probably over here. I had to move it. Yeah, I'd say it's about 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch max. But I had to move it that far to the right to get the proper push rod geometry to get this roller, because now if you look, and it's still not 100%, I just didn't want to run it any further over because it was starting to affect this one. But if you look at the slack, you see how no matter where this drifts to, that roller's dead center. To be honest with you, it's pretty perfect, but this one I could always get perfect This one was always a hair off. Like when I would torque it down and roll the motor over, it would start drifting to the right, and this side of the roller was almost going to damn near half the top of the valve tip. I mean, it was bad. So I ground that out, and I finally got that shifted over. But other than that, I mean, like I said, I think I adjusted this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. And I believe that's it. So 4 out of 8. But this one was good. That one was good. That one was good. That one was good. I adjusted that one. So it was either 4 or 5 out of the 8 I had to adjust. Because like I said, they run in pairs. So it's not like you're over here adjusting 16 of them. Now mind you, comps, which I think is a blessing in disguise. If I would have had to buy them, I definitely would have bought the comps. Comp Cams makes adjustable guide plates that what you do is you put them in one by one, and they're like little puzzle pieces. And what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to get your proper push rod geometry and rocker geometry, and then I guess you just tack weld it real fast, like here, and you know, like if you can get in there about right there, and then you pull the rockers back off, you pull the plate out, and you weld it permanently to get the full strength, you know, of like a solid plate like this. To be honest with you, if I did it that way, like if I had those guys, I wouldn't have welded them. That's for damn sure. I probably would have just left them alone. But I guarantee you, if I had those, I would have been able to get the drift I needed out of this rocker, and I would have been able to leave this one alone. Because like I said, out of the box, this rocker was fine. It was this one that was way off. I mean, almost a half an inch off. I mean, almost, yeah, about a half an inch off it was. It was bad. It was way out of whack. And like I said, I'm pretty lenient. I mean, out of all the ones I checked, I left what I could alone. So anyways, moving on. Yeah, we got the oil pan on. Quick thing I want to touch base on. Very important when you're doing any oil pan gasket. I would go ahead and tack this corner, and then the back 2 corners, because if you look, I don't know if you can see it now, but underneath this throw where this last main cap goes in, there's like a divot on each side. Now mind you, the gasket has a little fingernail that pokes up past the gasket that's made to fill in that crease, but I would go ahead and take RTV and hit these corners, and while it's still wet, then throw the gasket in, because I don't know if it was just bad luck or it's the way Fel-Pro makes them, but this gasket I actually had to stretch a little bit. I actually had to stretch this gasket to fully form and adhere to the full surface. So you definitely want to use a little bit of RTV to fill in all those gaps, because like I said, these gaskets are man-made, and you know, they make these for thousands of different motors. I mean, some motors you could probably get away with just throwing the gasket on, but that little bit of RTV reassurance is not going to kill you. And I mean, it's not like it's going to squeeze out or anything, as long as you don't go overboard. So yeah, aside from that, everything's all done with that. And yeah, I threw these in on the intake gaskets. And we got this one in over here. The last one left are these two. To be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of these. I literally accidentally touched it with a piece of tape when I was fitting them in. It accidentally got stuck to this because I rolled this back to see how much room I had on the intake ports. And they fit. It's crazy, man, because, you know, a lot of people would think with these older motors, you know, you would port and polish them, you know, or at least gasket match. So when I checked it, when I put I don't know if it's the gasket or if it's just they're already port and polished, or I mean at least ported or just made to size, because this gasket, when I fit it over this side of the intake, there's no room to you know, port or polish or port in general. I mean, you could always polish, but there's no room to port. So that's kind of a plus. I know I'm going to get good airflow out of this intake, because a lot of people were saying this intake is the bottleneck of a system when you set it up like I did for mine. At least that's what they told me. To be honest with you, I'm just going to go out right and say it. That's bullshit, man. This intake's going to flow amazing. Is it a stock intake? Yeah. But Hughes Engines, where this is from, because again, guys, this is going to be the main view on this intake. Let me give you a good walk around, because I went ahead and got this thing powder coated blue. I got the fuel rails done in alien silver, purple Ford 24-pound injectors, which are honestly, thinking about it now, probably a little on the light side. I got all my plugs and all my fittings in. And yeah, guys, she's good to go. High flow throttle body. The spacer's down here. Now, a main thing I wanted to touch base on here is that I was talking to you guys in the past, because I have fully forged internals, thinking about running a cheater plate for nitrous. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, because you see how my fuel rail is attached to these brackets? I don't know if I'm going to be able to run a cheater plate on this setup. I think what I'm going to end up having to do is maybe pull one of these fittings out and run the spray tube, or whatever you want to call it, through there. I think that's what I'm going to do, because all these holes line up. But I've got 2 on this side, 2 on that side, or 4 on this side. So I think what I'm going to use is I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to drill it out all the way through, and then I'm going to run my cheater plate in through there and lock it down through there if I can do it. Honestly, that's just me brainstorming. I don't even know if that's doable yet. But yeah, that's the plan. So like I said, this is the full fuel system and intake manifold, top to bottom. That's the full setup. I actually put this together months ago. I mean, probably before I even got my block done, because it was so simple to do. Again, guys, huge shout out to Hughes Engines. Any problems you guys have, go ahead and call them. They will take care of you. These intakes are a little pricey, to be honest with you. I would look for maybe a used one off eBay if you can find it, but new, I think I paid $670 for this. That's how expensive it was. So yeah, aside from that, we got the headers all done. I put like 4 coats of paint on these. I don't think I'm gonna put these on yet, or I might in another video. That will definitely be on video. Gotta get something on video, man. It's ridiculous. Like I said, I do all these reviews and comparisons, but I never put anything on. So here's the valve covers already ready to go. All that stuff in there with the gaskets. I can't put those on just yet because I still got to adjust these rockers. I got them set at 0 lash, but after watching a couple other videos from fellow YouTubers, I don't know if I'm going to do a 1/4 of a turn or if I'm going to do a full turn for my preload. I know a lot of guys say a 1/4 of a turn is all you need, but I was watching a video, I believe it was Eric the Car Guy, where he was saying that he used these comp cam rollers, and he ended up needing a whole full turn of preload to keep his top end from being noisy. So I might start with a 1/2 a turn, or I might go 1/4 turn. I'm not quite 100% yet, but yeah, guys. So like I said, she's coming along. She actually looks like a motor now. There's very little to go. Like I said, I got the valve covers done. Here's the front engine bracket that'll be going on soon. Here's my old, piston tools that I'm not gonna be using anymore unless, I do another build in the future. Like I said, here's the headers ready to go, nice and pretty. Flotex, they didn't come this nice. I made them this nice. These are actually ceramic coated. And yeah, you know what, guys? I've talked so long into shit other than this intake. I think I'm gonna do another video. This was supposed to be the intake video, but I talked so much about the rockers and I touched on so many important problems, and steps you need to go through that a lot of people don't talk about, that I think I'm going to make this video titled after those, and then I'm going to start a new video right after I end this one about this intake. And again, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.